All right. And we're live right now. Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm Joshua Paul. I'm Marketing Director for SampleServe. And I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day for your interest in our products. I have with us Russell Schindler. He's the founder and CEO of SampleServe. He's a professional geologist. He's been working in the environmental industry for over 30 years. I also have Paul Goodrow. Paul is on the SampleServe board. He leads our sales development. Paul has a master's in hydrogeology and an extensive history in managing and selling to environmental firms. Keep in mind, guys, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat at any time, and we'll get to it either in the middle of our presentation or at the end. So we appreciate any questions that you guys have, and we'll make sure we get to them. I'm going to let you guys take it over. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Russell.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for the introduction and making all this technical part work. Greatly appreciated. So SampleServe is currently in market with 4 different products that service 4 different user groups in our sample collection business channels out there. So the first one is SampleEnv, and I'm going to go in depth into that product. SampleLOG is for laboratories. SampleH2O is for specifically for drinking water sampling. And then SampleSWR is a unique product in that it's for collecting sewer system samples for communicable diseases. So SampleH2O is specifically built for low volume, low frequency sampling of drinking water, and it's for novice samplers. So these are not people who are professional samplers. It could be a homeowner, it could be a janitor, it could be just somebody who's got to collect a sample and submit it to some agency, periodically at a municipality or maybe a public water supply. And it's designed to be used on any smartphone. It's white labeled to the laboratory's brand. So these are actually sold that, we get the customers, the labs white labeled, and then they sell to their customers. And it makes sampling and receiving at about 85% more efficient. We currently have 3 labs signed up. And then we've got more in the pipeline too. This is kind of our dark horse product. People are really starting to buy into this too. So it's a need out there as well. So SampleSWR is again, as I mentioned, for collecting sewer samples for the detection of communicable diseases like COVID, flu, monkeypox, polio, that type of thing, whatever has DNA. We've teamed up with a company called Shield T3, and they have a test for DNA that can be done in about 90 minutes. So we're happy to team up with those guys. Again, this is a smartphone, doesn't require any downloading on it. It's a web app. And then it's got a very simple digital chain of custody, which is very useful for this type of sampling. And then it imports data into the Shield T3 LIMS system. They're able to then report results and make recommendations on further action that whatever school or college that is using this system for the sample detection. And then we've got one customer, which is Shield T3 right now, but there are other people in the pipeline as well, other companies. SampleEnv, this is our biggest product, our first product. This is designed for high volume, high frequency sampling by professional samplers. These are people that literally sample all the time, consulting engineering companies, that type of thing. It's got a great built-in project management tool, built-in digital chain of custody. We actually have 2 patents, issued patents on this digital chain of custody. And then we take all that data and we're able to create all the common graphics that a consulting engineering firm needs to deliver in just a matter of seconds. And then make sampling and reporting combined about 40 to 60% more efficient. So we're saving people half the money. SampleLOG, we actually give this product away to laboratories for free. And it's made for partnering with the SampleEnv. So you collect your samples with the SampleEnv, send them to the lab. They use our SampleLOG app to receive those samples. And they like it because it does a lot of things, facilitates sample container orders. So it makes that a lot more efficient. Digital chain of custody makes the sample receiving. And they also have a digital login checklist. So most labs do this login checklist on paper right now. It makes sample receiving about 90% more efficient and eliminates transcription errors. So it's a big benefit. So here's our business model on SampleEnv. We actually give our project management tool away for free. So anyone can go in there and start managing their projects, setting up sample events, no cost. And then we give our sample app away for free as well. So you can collect your data, print your labels, all that stuff for free. They do have to buy their own hardware, and the labels, we do charge for the labels, but the software part is free. And then the lab app, which was, previously free. It's always been free. The labs are able to participate here at no cost as well. And it all delivers the reporting graphics. And that's really what the value is in our software. People are collecting samples because they need to generate a report, which needs to be submitted to an agency, a state or federal agency. And so we monetize that. We actually have more reporting customers than we do app customers, because some people are using their own old collection methods, but using our reporting graphics. So really, we're trying to funnel people in by letting them use the data collection part and then charging them for the graphics. So we've got some channel partners on the report project management side. And we can actually monetize the free part through different methods here. And I'll just go over these briefly. Laboratories, because we give that away, one of our motivations there is that labs become our sales partners, right? The lab's customer is the exact same customer as our customer. And so their sales staff to sell our product on their behalf. So, and they save money in return. We're working on a product. We have not built this yet, where the bottle manufacturers are actually able to do direct to shipment from the bottle companies. And I'll go into that a little bit more. And then hopefully by the end of this month, we're going to have a environmental sampling supply and rental company partnered with us. So they'll be able to do orders through there. So the supply and equipment rental company will be able to do one-click ordering, because we know everything about the product, the project. We know how many filters they need, balers, tubing, that kind of stuff. We can scrape that and then just essentially prepare the order, and they can do one-click ordering. The benefit is the labs, the supply companies become sales partners, right? They're out there because they want to increase their revenue. They're going to be selling our product. Same with the labs, as I mentioned earlier. They become channel partners. They benefit by increased time and resource savings and increased accuracy. So they become sales partners as well. And the bottle manufacturers, again, this is not built out yet for the bottle side of things, but this business model is going to be very unique, and it's going to save labs all the shipping and storage and logistics of fulfilling bottle orders. And the bottle manufacturers are actually going to be able to get more market share, and they're going to be selling to laboratories because that's their customer, which will in turn use ours. The key thing to all these channel partners is that we're leveraging their sales forces to do our work, if you will. And the software is what makes it possible, right? So the reason this has not been done before is because there has not been a software similar to SampleServe that facilitates the communication to all these channel partners. So the overall cost savings when somebody's using our software, we save people in every category of work. In the project management tool, the field data side, the in the field collecting the samples, the labeling, chain of custody, the lab saves significantly. And then the graphics and reporting is really where the biggest savings. If you look at the pie chart, this is an approximation of where the money's actually spent. And most of the money is spent on graphics and reporting. And that's where we save them a ton of money. And so that's where we get the overall savings of about half the cost. So if you look at the market, how big is the market? Well, there's over 150 million samples a year collected every year and across the different verticals, drinking water, wastewater, environmental. But if we can just get just 0.5% of that market, that's at $8 a sample, which is, pretty average for us right now. It's about $6 million a year. So we're, as we get bigger percentages of the market, that revenue grows. So here's our team. I'm the CEO, geologist, been doing this stuff for 33 years now. Mike Franklin I've worked with hundreds of engineers, and Mike's probably the best guy I've ever worked with, very talented guy. He's our lead engineer on the software development. Paul Goodrow, who you're going to hear from here a little bit later. He's been a godsend when he came on board a couple of years ago. Great strategy guy, and he knows pretty much every big player in the industry. So happy to have him on board. And then Eric Bergsman was my partner in the very beginning, and he's our controller, does all our financials and accounting. And then Josh, who is the marketing guy, who he should be on this slide too, because he's a very integral part of the team. So Josh is our marketing director. And he's the guy who put all this together. So there's lots of different verticals in that $150 million a year, or 150 million samples a year. And you can see how we've divided it up here. We've got beachheads, or we're working in the three that you see there: wastewater, drinking water, environmental. Cannabis, that piece of that pie is going to be growing as more and more states legalize cannabis across the country. And food safety is also growing as well as the it's not just pie size, the whole market in general is becoming a bigger pie, as well as more and more concern about environmental and product safety. So there is some competitors out there that are competing in some of the parts of what we're doing. Most of them are revolve around the field app side of things. But none of them has a full chain of custody. Chromium has what they call a chain of custody, but the reality is it's really just lab instructions. It doesn't do the chain of custody like we do. And as I mentioned, we've got 2 issued patents on our digital chain of custody process. And none of them has a lab app, right, where the labs can receive the samples and they create that efficiency in the lab. And then none of them has the report generation capability that we do. We do contouring, all kinds of graphics and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty robust reporting product. So recent key customer traction we've had, Antia has decided they're going to move all of their groundwater projects into the SampleServe platform. Currently, they've got this unique project that we're going to have to customize one of our software products for a little bit. We're proposing on this, and it's a 64,000 samples per year project. So we're pretty excited about that. Stantec has been a client for over 2 years. They got about 180 projects, and they keep adding more and more projects on there. We meet with these guys every other week, and they love our product. And, so we're looking forward to expand and work with them across the country. And then Blarney Castle, although they're not a big client, they're our first client we ever had. And they've actually invested over $500,000 in SampleServe. They're one of our biggest investors. And they're adding new stuff. So as they expand, they buy up new gas stations and they put those projects in our system. So I'm pretty excited and happy to have those guys. So this is a snapshot of our weekly sampling totals that I took today at 11 o'clock. And you can see it says 162 this week so far. I actually, just before coming on air, it was actually up to 176. I just didn't have time to replace the slide. And that's, at 162, that's 46 samples a day. Where it is right now is about 50 samples a day. So you can see the little gaps here, 93, 91. That was actually Thanksgiving. The other little gap, that's the Christmas time, Christmas, New Year's gap there. So sampling went down as you would be expected. But it's working its way back up, and we, looking at our forecast, it's looking pretty good to continue that growth. And then we're also building out. We've partnered with a lab, Enviro Lab. They're an environmental partner, but they recently got certified as a state cannabis lab, which is pretty exciting. And then, so cannabis, we're expecting big things out of it, because cannabis chain of custody is our #1 Google search impression that pops up. Because there's a lot of people out there looking for chain of custody as they legalize it. There's a big demand for chain of custody in the cannabis world, because the state legislations typically require it, but everyone's doing it on paper. The sampling methods are very similar. There's going to be some slight modifications, but it's a huge market. It's a $1.8 billion a year market, and it's growing at like 13 to 14% a year. So we should have this product rolled out by summer. So we're pretty excited about that. We're raising $2 million, 1.2 on Start Engine. If you go to Start Engine and search SampleServe, you can actually invest today. But $2 million total, and we can do other funds outside of Start Engine. Either or works for us. We've actually raised $2.4 million so far since we started in 2018. And then we're going to use those funds mostly for customer acquisition, support, sales, that type of stuff, trade shows, and then also building out some other features that customers are requesting, and we feel will bring more customers as well. And we're targeting, in the next 18 months, if you look at our trajectory, we're hoping that we can be at 2,000 samples a day in an 18-month period, which would be that figure I mentioned earlier. So what's the plan in terms of an exit? Probably getting acquired, hopefully getting acquired by one of these companies up here. There's some software companies that would be a great acquisition for them. Engineering companies, some of these are current clients, and then laboratories out there. So some of the bigger labs are interested in these types of products. So that's my presentation. I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and Paul is going to do some commentary on the state of the industry and where everything's going.
Great. Thanks, Russell. Thanks, Josh. As Russell said, I've been in the industry for quite some time, almost 45 years now, primarily as an environmental consultant and engineer. I've worked in that space pretty much all my career. In addition, I've been lucky enough to work with some fairly significant global oil and gas customers. And so I first met Russell 2.5 years ago when I was putting a proposal together for one of the multinational oil and gas companies, and they wanted to have over 500 sites monitored on a routine basis. And that's when I first found SampleServe. And when I was looking at the market, I was looking for a partner for that proposal opportunity. There really wasn't one that suited the needs of a project like that. So I was really fortunate to find SampleServe. Since that time, I've retired and started my own consulting business called Enoran Partners, and I've joined the board of directors for SampleServe. But in my current role in advising companies, I really work with consulting engineers, environmental consultants and engineers, and with laboratories. Two of the key really markets or channels that SampleServe is offering their solutions to. And consistently what I hear from those two channels or those two markets is the development of digital technologies. Not so long ago, you didn't have a VP of digital solutions or a chief technology officer. Nowadays, it's pretty common in both those markets and those type of companies to have people who are looking at digital solutions and not just how they apply them internally at the enterprise level, but how they develop these solutions for external applications, how they bring them in front of customers, how they integrate them into their products or services, and how do they, frankly, grow more revenue, make more money, and keep employees engaged. So Russell's done a really nice job looking at the features and functionalities of the product. I'm also interested in, and we've been talking a lot to our customers about what's the business proposition. How do these digital solutions actually affect your business? And as I said, most businesses, consulting engineers or laboratories have a digital strategy in place. And what they've more or less decided to do in a general sense is they don't want to develop those internally. They want to partner with companies that already have developed those solutions and will be a good technology partner or digital solutions partner for them. That's our foundation of our marketing, business development, and sales strategy, is to partner with our customers to offer digital solutions that they can integrate into their core business. And the business proposition that we offer, besides just the functionality and features and the efficiency that the services bring or the products bring, is around developing more revenue. Laboratories, environmental consultants, engineers are always eager to grow their revenue, right? There's two ways of doing it, either through organic growth or through acquisition. Smaller companies that may not have the cash flow to do the acquisition are looking at organic growth opportunities. And the SampleServe solution provides them a great opportunity to go after larger projects, portfolio projects, and compete on price if they need to because of the cost benefits of the technology. So the first thing for them is, how do I increase our revenue? The second thing is, how do I add to our margins? And obviously, Russell's already talked about this, but using technology, replacing labor is automatically a cost saver. So we also affect the profitability of firms in a positive way. The last thing, which can't be overlooked, is technology today to young employees, people who are coming into these organizations, whether laboratories, environmental consultants, or engineers, are looking for effective tools, efficient tools. They're looking for solutions that they use every day, outside of work. Our solutions are very user-friendly. They're very fit for purpose. And the younger employees, the younger professionals love them. And so when you provide employees with a meaningful work and an efficient way of doing work, they're likely to remain engaged and stay longer. So I'll wrap it up, but I'm on the board because I believe there's a lot of runway here with just those two markets, environmental consulting, engineering, and laboratories. I think we have great functions, features, and capabilities from a digital standpoint. I think we also have a great business value proposition for these markets and for these companies. So I'm excited to be part of the team, and I'd encourage you all to invest as you see appropriate. But this is a product that has a long life and is just getting started.
As Russell likes to put it, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
That's exactly right. It's going to happen.
Digital transformation in the environmental industry. I like it. You guys summed it up pretty good. If anybody has any questions, you guys can ask questions in the chat and we can get to it even after this video is over. You can also ask questions on the Start Engine listing that we have, or you can email Russell at russell@sampleserve.com. We're going to leave this video up for people to watch. We'll send it out to anybody interested. If you would like this presentation, we can also send you this presentation. And I think that sums it up for us today, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.